Welcome back to GAA Fan TV. It's a live watch-along stream for Kerry and Mayo in the 2022 Allianz National Football League final. A huge game for both counties. Can Kerry pick up some much-needed silverware at Croke Park? No doubt about that. Obviously, they've won the league 2 years ago, but their record at Croke Park in the last couple of years hasn't exactly been brilliant. One win in their last 11 games. So a little bit of worrying times for Kerry at Croke Park. And for Mayo, they could definitely do with a big victory as well, no doubt about it. Obviously, their record in Croke Park has been a little bit better than Kerry in the last couple of years, but we all know about their record in finals at Croke Park, and it hasn't exactly been brilliant. But in fairness, their last two finals are, well, two of their last, four finals at Croke Park. They won the league final in 2019 and the Connacht final last year as well. So huge game for both. Make no mistake about it. Sean says, are you not at this? Unfortunately, I am not. I got a ticket, but I did give it away. I have that, you know that virus that people are speaking about. Unfortunately, I have, but thankfully enough, I feel great. And I've actually got, like basically no symptoms at all, like a little cough, and that's it. So, it is what it is, unfortunately. How's things, mate? Haven't seen you on this in a while. Hope all is well. Love the Armagh top. Well, look, Dublin aren't great at the minute, so maybe it's time to start following or start finding a second team. But yeah, so it's a live watch along stream for Kerry and Mayo. Here we go. So there we go. Kerry and Mayo, both teams just coming out onto the pitch now. We're seeing the teams come out. We'll get the teams on the screen as well. In terms of a prediction from the game from myself, I'm going to go with Kerry 117, Mayo 115. I think it'll be a close game. I actually have a funny feeling Kerry are going to start this game very strong, build up a lead. I could see them building up a 6 to 7 point lead. And then I think Mayo are going to come roaring back. But I think Kerry will just have enough in the end to hold out. I think this game is arguably more important for Kerry than it is for Mayo, just because I feel like if they were to lose this game, there'd be a lot of people again speaking about their record at Croke Park in recent years and different things like that. I know their main focus is obviously the All-Ireland, and they certainly are the favourites for the All-Ireland. Make no mistake about that. But a defeat here against Mayo would just set them back maybe a little bit. And let's not forget their next big test really after this game is probably going to be an All-Ireland quarter-final. And then it really depends who they get in the quarter-finals. You know, it could be a semi-final maybe against whoever. So we'll obviously have to wait and see there as well. So you can jump on the Kerry bandwagon for a few years. Absolutely not, unfortunately. Definitely not Kerry now. Can't remember the league match, any idea what the score was. I think Kerry won it by a point. I think it was 112 to 14, I think, if my memory serves me right. These were the original teams that were named. I actually haven't checked to see if there's any late changes, so we'll try and find that out as we go along. But this was the Mayo side that was originally announced. So Rory Byrne, Lee Keegan, Stephen Cohen, Padraig O'Hara in there, Michael Plunkett, Oisin Mullen, and Enda Hession. You've then got a midfield of Jordan Flynn and Matthew Ruan, Conor Loftus, Aidan O'Shea, Jack Carney, James Carr, Jason Doherty, and Ryan O'Donoghue. The big one there, though, right at the end, Cillian O'Connor on the bench. What kind of a role could he play in this Mayo team? We've got Aidan Orme on the bench as well. Darren McHale's in there. Conor O'Shea. It's a good bench, actually, from a Mayo perspective. Aidan O'Shea playing at 11 this time around instead of number 6. So he's back in his usual position, you could say. This was the Mayo or the Kerry team originally announced. Shane Murphy in goal, Dylan Casey, Jason Foley, and Tom O'Sullivan making up the full back line. I've actually just realised that's the we've had a howler there. That's the wrong Kerry team. That's the Kerry team from the last game. We should have the new Kerry team here. But yeah, we'll get that up there now. So there we go. Shane Ryan in goal, Graham O'Sullivan, Jason Foley, and Tom O'Sullivan, Gavin White, Tyg Murley, Brian O'Buglock. Midfield of Jeremy O'Connor and Jack Barry. You've then got a half forward line of Darren Moynihan, Paddy Clifford, Adrian Spillane, and a full forward line of Stephen O'Brien, David Clifford, and Paul Gainey. And yeah, we'll see if there is any late changes in there as well. Sir Klopp says Kerry with a full championship squad, Mayo missing 5 or 6 key players. Yeah, I mean, they're obviously missing Jeremy O'Connor, Tommy Conroy. You know, they're missing a lot of players in there, Mayo. So yeah, that could certainly be something that could affect Mayo maybe in this game. Sharon says Kerry's dominance in the league is unreal. Yeah, they've been really good in the league, obviously coming in on the back of that defeat to Tyrone. Obviously, it was a dead rubber for Kerry. I mean, they had absolutely nothing to play for in that game. But yeah, I mean, they have looked very good. I mean, you had the draw in the opening game, 5 wins in the middle there as well. Viable Solution says, can't believe Aidan O'Shea played in something like 6 All-Irelands and didn't score a single point. Yeah, it's an extraordinary record, isn't it? And funny enough, Cillian O'Connor's record in All-Ireland finals isn't exactly brilliant in terms of points from play either. So it's an unusual one. It's an unusual one from Aidan O'Shea. I do think there was a time when Aidan O'Shea was a great player. I still think he is a good player, but it's just hard to know really where he fits in with this Mayo team. You know, he's great for that throw-in because he can win possession there, you know, and he's a physical presence and he causes a bit of havoc and a bit of chaos. But, you know, like he wins the throw-in there straight away. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what he can give to you. Mayo straight away on the attack there as well. We'll get a score up on a scoreboard up on the screen here as well. In just a moment. Mayo straight away on the attack there and getting the opening score. So there you go. Brilliant point there. Didn't see who it was, but Mayo take the lead early on. Good start for Mayo, and I think a start is needed, and I think for Mayo as well, just to win. You know, if they were to win this as well, it would give them great confidence, wouldn't it, going into an All-Ireland final? Because I think if Mayo are to win the All-Ireland this year and end this, you know, incredible way for the Sam Maguire Trophy, they're probably going to have to beat Kerry at some point. I think the way the layout is, I don't think, you know, if both sides win their provinces, I don't think these two can play each other. They can play each other in a quarterfinal, obviously, but I'm not too sure if they can get drawn against each other in a semi-final either. Because I think it's Munster up against Ulster, and then Leinster against Connacht. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens indeed. Michael Plunkett there with that early point. I am watching this on the TG Car Player as well, so we might be a little bit behind the real-time score there. David Clifford just puts it over the bar with a lovely point. So Kerry there getting their response, and David Clifford with his first point of the game. And it's an interesting one with a lot of these Kerry players, because although they did win the league in 2020, and I mean, they kind of won the league last year as well, what they shared it with Dublin. But they haven't won too many, like, you know, a lot of these lads haven't won finals in Croke Park. So that, you know, that was kind of probably something we missed in the preview, but that could definitely be something that could play its part maybe for, you know, in Kerry's head. You know, it's something maybe to consider, no doubt about it. Sir Klopp says, I think it's Connacht versus Ulster and Munster versus Leinster this year. I'm actually going to look that up if I can. But yeah, all I know really is that I think Kerry and Mayo could very well be kept apart till the final anyway. So we'll definitely see what happens there. Kerry on the attack here, Mayo, who have done well defensively this year at times, and that's a effort there from Stephen O'Brien, I think it was there. Or not Stephen O'Brien, I should say. Ends up going wide anyway, so nothing in it there from a Kerry perspective. Tom O'Sullivan was the man there who ended up putting that opportunity wide. Is the game on TG Cahir? It sure is, Sean. Yeah, it's on there. So but yeah, 1 point apiece so far. I mean, I would expect this game to probably be slow out of blocks first of all. I think a lot of those games have been like that. You've seen Galway, Roscommon earlier, first half a little bit slow and then came into life. A brilliant bit of play there from Stephen O'Brien, and he puts it over the bar. Brilliant point there. And Kerry take the lead. So after being a point down, they've turned it around, and they lead the mighty men from Mayo. Of course, very, very early days, though. Of course, here just 4 minutes on the clock so far. Kerry there winning the kick out from Mayo, working the ball forward there into Paddy Clifford, who runs an absolute ring there. And Paddy Clifford goes through, and what a brilliant save. And then Mayo just about get away with it, but Mayo were absolutely opened up there. Paddy Clifford had the door was wide open there. He ran an absolute ring around Stephen Cohen as well. And Mayo were completely opened up there. Paddy Clifford forcing the save of Rory Byrne. No Robert Henley in this game as well, which is going to be a big miss for Mayo. It'll be interesting to see who's on 45s and long range frees. Probably Ryan O'Donoghue, to be fair, but Mayo going down the other end there. And that is a brilliant score from Mayo, from Matthew Rowan. And those who follow this show or follow this channel or whatever will know I am a big, big fan of Matthew Rowan, because he's a top class midfielder in that Mayo team. He gets on the score sheet, and it's 2 apiece. 2 apiece. Should have went around the keeper. Yeah, I think he went. I think he chose the right option in going for it. I don't know. Maybe he could have went around the goalkeeper, to be fair, but probably just straight at him. Needed to put it either side. But at the same time, though, the way he opened up Mayo there, like, that would be a little bit worrying from a Mayo perspective there. But still early days, of course. Both teams have started at a good intensity here so far. Like, both teams are very much going for it. Poor effort there, but it is going to be called back for a Mayo free. Sharon says, I'd like to see Mayo win it. Yeah, I'm not too sure who I'd like to win it, really, for myself. I mean, maybe Mayo, just to try and delay this juggernaut that is Kerry, because I feel like once Kerry get one All-Ireland under their belt and start winning these big games, I think they'll be unstoppable. I really do. So it's kind of more about delaying that. If he went around the keeper, he would have dragged him down. Possibly, yeah. Then a penalty. Ryan O'Donoghue's the man on the free here. Interesting to see James Carr in the team for Mayo as well. Hasn't been a regular enough starter from Mayo this year, but good to have him in here. Ryan O'Donoghue trying to float it in, but it hits off the post, bouncing around, but nothing doing there. Stays at 2 apiece. Ryan O'Donoghue very much trying to judge the wind, but it ends up hitting the post in the end. Renee says here, any links to a stream stuck at a kid's party with them hogging the TV? If you search TG Cahir Player, or if you download the app, you should be able to watch it from there. I'm not too sure what your location is. I know it's on GAA Go as well, but obviously you need to pay a fiver or whatever there. But here's Kerry on the attack with a goal opportunity, and they open up Mayo again. It was a ball played into David Clifford. It was wide again, though. Lovely play there. It looked like it was Paddy Clifford there running forward. And Kerry again here winning the opposition kick out. Could be a problem for Mayo, like not having Robbie Henley. That could definitely be something that Kerry target, and they go on the attack, and that looks over the bar. And it is over the bar. Kerry take the lead, 3 points to 2. And Kerry very much on top here so far. They've won a couple of opposition kickouts now, and that might be just a bit of a worry from a Kerry point of view. Adrian Spillane with that point there for Kerry. Viable solution saying there, are you saying it's inevitable that Kerry will win a few? I think we have the right manager now, but Kerry winning the league won't mean anything without bringing Sam home. I think once Kerry do get over the line and win an All-Ireland, you know, they have such a good team and so many options in the panel that I could see, you know, you've kind of got that monkey off the back, and I could see Kerry potentially going on to win a few more. You know, but if you were to lose, I know this is the league final, and obviously it's, you know, Sam Maguire is the trophy you want. That's the one you're looking for. But if you lose this one, it's another big game lost in Croke Park. You know what I mean? Like it's 1 win in 12 then in Croke Park, and it might just go against you maybe going into the championship. It might not, of course. You know, it mightn't have an impact at all, but it would just be my thinking around it. Kerry on the attack there ended up putting an opportunity wide. Goes to Hawkeye, nothing there. So Kerry a point in front here after 10 minutes. Could Kerry end up winning the kick out? They don't. Mayo actually win it. Good, great catch there from Jordan Flynn. Plays it into Ryan O'Donoghue. Lovely play. I think did Killian O'Connor start? I think he might have started, did he? I think I just seen him there on the ball. I'm gonna have to look it up here now and see what late changes were made. Kerry intercept the ball there though. Brilliant bit of working around the middle. Of course, Mayo are missing players as well, but let's not forget Kerry are missing players. I don't think Sean O'Shea's in the team there, so you know Mayo might be missing players, but Kerry certainly are as well. So no Killian. It must have been Jeremy O'Connor maybe in there that I seen. Rory Brickenden coming in for Oisin Mullen, Paul Towie coming in there as well, and Conor McStay coming in for Owen McLaughlin. So they're the late changes from Mayo. Kerry with the opportunity here. Paul Gainey standing over the free, puts it over, or does he? No, he puts it wide. Actually, that's a surprising one. I wonder why David Clifford wasn't on that one. Maybe he just decided to give it to Paul Gainey, or maybe it was a mark as well. I took my eye off the screen there for a minute. Mayo now going on the attack there, playing it into Matthew Ruan. 3 points to 2 so far, both sides. Just very much trying to feel each other out there by the looks of things. Great ball forward into Padraig O'Hara, who's very far forward there. A little bit loose from Jack Carney, and Kerry can break on the counter-attack. And they are breaking quite fast on the counter-attack and causing a couple of problems for Mayo. And they're running very direct at Mayo. And certainly causing a couple of issues. But Mayo have done well there in the end defensively. Lee Keegan coming away with the ball. Did Kerry concede any goals in the league? Yeah, they conceded against Tyrone and Kildare, I think. But I think that was it from what I remember. So, you know, that influence of Paddy Tally has certainly made a big impact there. So yeah, two goals conceded, I think, in total in the league. There's Mayo on the attack going down the other end. Goes wide. Still 3 points to 2 for Kerry. Both sides missing opportunities there at opposite ends. Very even game so far. Neither side has really sort of dominated. Kerry have had a couple of chances though, and again a long ball there just works its way into Paddy Clifford, who looks to put it into David Clifford, and that was a little bit unusual. It was a long ball, and it looked like it just hit off one of the Mayo players, hit off his back or his head, and it just fell straight to Paddy Clifford, who put it into David Clifford. And yeah, Kerry are creating a couple of goal chances here, but they haven't taken any of them yet, and that's the main thing. They'll need to take them. Bit of a half opportunity there. I don't really think there was much in that, to be fair. A little bit surprising that he's given the free. I didn't really see anything wrong there, in my opinion, but Kerry 4 points to 2. So Kerry opening up a 2-point lead, the biggest lead in the game so far. Can you say go on, Mayo? Go on, Mayo. There we go. I've no problem cheering for Mayo in this game. Kildare game was one. Yeah, you could be right there. Maybe it was just a one goal. So they definitely have improved, and I think that will be a big thing for Kerry. It's fine. Because the defense has been the problem in the last couple of years, and with Paddy Tally coming in there as well, obviously Jack O'Connor as the manager, they definitely have shored up quite a bit, and I think that will be the main thing there. Kerry on the attack again, and Mayo looking a little bit loose defensively, but Kerry just holding possession there at the minute with David Clifford into Stephen O'Brien. Big game for him, of course, as well, who's been in and out of the team, really. And there's a ball that ends up going over the bar, flicked on over the bar by Rory Byrne in the end, but it was Paddy Clifford who gets the score, and Kerry now 3 to the good. It's definitely Kerry doing most of the work so far. They've definitely been on the attack more. Mayo haven't really had too much opportunities at the other end. And again, they win the kick out. So Mayo are just definitely struggling with that at the minute. It's an overhit pass out to number 10 there. And that was an opportunity. That was a chance there. Kerry could have potentially worked a goal opportunity. It was Darren Moynihan there who it was overhit in the end, but it was a half a chance there. Is there any injuries on the teams? Well, Tommy Conroy's obviously injured for Mayo. Jeremy O'Connor is injured for Mayo as well. You've no Robert Henley. Killian O'Connor's on the bench. And for Kerry, you've no Sean O'Shea. I can't really think of anyone else who might be injured there. Tony Brosnan isn't in the team, but I think that's more of a rotation type thing there. But yeah, here come Mayo on the attack there, trying to bend it off the post again, and nearly ended up a goal there. It was an opportunity. It's the second time Mayo have hit the post in the game. It's floated in by Connor Loftus and ends up hitting the post. Or it was Connor Loftus, sorry, who got on the breaking ball and just about goes out there. I think, yeah, it was a wide ball in the end. The inventor of the Wonder Bra was a Mayo man, all support and no cup. Yeah, poor Mayo, unfortunately, just haven't been able to get over the line in the last half a century. But what can you do? What can you do? They've come close. They've had good times, but certainly a lot of bad times, and they're on the attack again here. That looks over the bar from James Carr, and it is good point from him. Who do you think will win? I think Kerry will just about have enough in this game. I'm still not sure in terms of the All-Ireland. I really do still think that Mayo could win the All-Ireland this year. I think they're not far away. I think a lot could depend on the status of Killian O'Connor, and if you can get him back, fit, maybe he plays a Cathal McShane type role for this year in terms of what McShane played last year when he was coming off the bench. So it's an interesting one. Really wouldn't put a lot between these two teams, but Kerry on the attack there again. They've put that ball over the bar. 6 points to 3. Paul Gainey gets his first point of the game. And puts things right after missing that free earlier. So Kerry with the 3-point lead here after 18 minutes. Mayo starting to maybe go a little bit more short from their kick out here. So yeah. Lee Keegan here is on the attack for Mayo. They've opened up Kerry. Might be half a chance here. They could have worked a goal opportunity, but they take the point in the end there from Jordan Flynn, who's had a very good league campaign, it must be said, for Mayo. He's been a good addition to the team. So yeah, 6 points to 4 for Kerry there, and Mayo just staying in the game at the minute. You know, certainly a long way to go. Roland Brown says opinions on Dublin. Oh, how much time have you got? Yeah, I mean, they're just all over the place, really, aren't they? I don't think Dublin will be doing anything big this year, in my opinion. Leinster Championship will be the best that Dublin will do this year. Because yeah, Kerry here with an opportunity goes over the bar. It was dropped short. Rory Byrne arguably could have caught that, but it does go over the bar. So Kerry build up go back to being 3 points in front there with a 3-point lead. But yeah, I just don't see Dublin doing anything big this year. They definitely have the quality, like they have the players, there's no doubt about it. And Fenton, Kilkenny, Costello, if Con O'Callaghan comes back, although it looks like he won't be coming back, like they definitely have the players, they have the quality, but I just don't think things are working out under Desi Farrell, and there seems to be a lot of messing going on there as well. So I couldn't see Dublin doing that this year. Kildare could give Dublin a game of it in a Leinster final. They could. I actually think Kildare would rather play Dublin in a semi-final, though, because I think if Dublin were to, I think Meath are still, I would still very much fancy Dublin to beat Meath, but very comfortably. And that could give the Dublin lads a bit of confidence. It's another game maybe for players to come back from injuries, all the rest. So I think you'd rather get Dublin in a semi-final than a final. But in saying that, there could be that sort of, if you beat Dublin, there's that sort of anti-climax, a bit like Mayo last year. You still then have to play a Leinster final. Do you think teams still use the league for rebuilding teams? Used to be a day when teams didn't care much about the league and just fielded up and coming players. Yeah, I mean, it depends really. I think both teams use it for different reasons. I mean, you're seeing Mayo and James Horan, like they've used the league, to rotate a lot of players, bringing through younger players, and it's probably one of the reasons why they got relegated there 2 years ago. Because they had so many younger players in their squad, and they were rotating a lot and trying different things out. But I feel like you have to do that really, because you need to give younger players game time. You need to test things out, and sometimes it will work. Like this year, for example, where it's worked quite well, and other years it won't. Kerry, on the other hand side, seems to be going very strong in the league. I think because of the fact as well that Kerry, in the Connacht or the Munster Championship is probably the weakest province outside of Kerry, obviously. And Kerry don't even need to be at their best to win that, in my opinion. It's a bit like Dublin and Leinster through the years. Cork might raise their game against them, but they should still be winning it comfortably. Even if they do the whole parky ring or nowhere, Kerry will still win it comfortably. So yeah, different teams use it for different reasons, I suppose. Ryan O'Donoghue here standing over a free as well. Chance to bring it back to a 2-point game. It's very much been that kind of way. Kerry, building up a 3-point lead. Ryan O'Donoghue hits the post again. That's the third time now that Mayo have hit the post. And I'd say Ryan O'Donoghue must really hate that post. I really do, because, he missed that penalty in the All-Ireland final hitting the post. He's hit 2 frees off the post as well. So Mayo, and I think was someone else hit the post as well. So Kerry Mayo have had a lot of opportunities there hitting the post, and If this was an All-Ireland final, people would be saying, here we go. But it's a league final, so there we go. There we go. That's a shocking for. Yeah, I can't believe he missed that, to be honest. And there isn't too much of a breeze outside, so I don't really know what's going on there, to be honest. It could be like it's weird with Mayo sometimes. Is it a confidence thing? You feel like psychologically maybe sometimes they get flashbacks from missed opportunities in Crow Park or whatever. It's probably not that, to be fair, for this game, but sometimes you would just wonder that. But yeah. Rumors we heard down here in Kerry is that when he dropped Cluxton, it caused a lot of problems within the team. I don't think he definitely didn't drop Cluxton. Be massively surprised by that. But Kerry are on the attack here, and it's a goal in the back of the net there in the end. Kerry completely opening up Mayo. We've said it already in this game. Kerry have really exposed that Mayo defence. Obviously, Mayo are missing players. You don't have Paddy Durkin in there, I don't think, either. And no Oisin Mullen. So it's not the same defence as what we've seen from Mayo in recent games. But in the end, it works out to be a goal. It was a brilliant overhand ball there from Gavin White. And then it was Paul Gainey who just hits it off Rory Byrne. It comes back to Gavin White. He puts it in the back of the net, and Kerry build up a 6-point lead. And as I said before in this game, when I was predicting it before the start, I said Kerry, they're going to start fast. They're going to build up a lead. I still think you'll see Mayo do what they always do and fight back in the second half, because that just seems to be Mayo's thing. But I think at the same time, I would still expect Kerry to hold out. I'm not too sure what the umpires are doing here, but yeah, brilliant goal there in the end. Gavin White has some speed, awesome attacking left back. Yeah, he's a brilliant player, and obviously I remember his goal against Tyrone last year as well in the league, in the final league game. That was an insane goal, wasn't it? So he is a very, very good player. Did get a bit of a bang to the head there as he put that ball in the back of the net. I'm sure he'll wake up with a black eye, but I'm sure he won't care if Kerry go on to win this one. 6-point lead now in the game, so Kerry are looking pretty comfortable here as it stands, and Mayo need to stay in this game. I think that's the most important thing. We know Mayo will probably get a second win in the second half, because that's usually what they do, but at the same time, they need to give themselves a chance. You can't fall 9, 10, 12 points behind, because then it is game over. And I definitely don't want that either. I want this to be a good game. I want this to be edge of the seat stuff, maybe extra time. So we'll see. But Mayo now on the attack. You can see there, Kerry just doing a much better job defensively. Like Mayo aren't getting the same joy. You see Stephen O'Brien inside his own 45 there as well, rushing Mayo to take the opportunity, and that's going to go wide as well. So Mayo just haven't quite had the same energy as Kerry in attack. So yeah, who will replace Desi if he goes? I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, Mick Bohan might be a candidate. Maybe he's done very well with the Dublin ladies. I'm not sure. It's a tough one, really. He would be the person that most people would go for anyway. He's been involved with the Dublin setup in previous years as well. Jason Sherlock wouldn't be a bad shout either. He was the sort of the behind the scenes of Jim Gavin's reign. He was the assistant, very much part of the management team. Mightn't be the worst shout there. Or could Jim Gavin come back? I don't know. It's an interesting one. But it just doesn't seem to be working under Desi Farrell at the minute. But obviously we'll stick behind him and hope he does something this year, and maybe Dublin might prove us all wrong and get to an All-Ireland final and maybe win it. But at the minute, anyways, it isn't looking too good, to be fair. Kerry were on the attack there again and almost had a almost had a chance there. But yeah, not quite there for Mayo. Sharon says wouldn't write Mayo off. Yeah, I mean they're they're always they always have that within them, don't they? I mean, the Tyrone game in the All Ireland final was probably the only game of significance that I can remember where Mayo didn't really have that sort of second wind where they fought back into the game. But yeah, I could see Jim Gavin coming back. Yeah, I mean, be huge to get Jim Gavin back. I mean, I'm not too sure if he would. It's hard to know. He's obviously, you never really hear about him. He never does interviews. He stays very much out of the limelight. So you don't know if he would have an interest in coming back. Would it be very interesting to see him coming back? No doubt about it. David Clifford with a point there. Kerry now very comfortable, leading by 7 points. Running completely there, getting away completely from Michael Plunkett, and a brilliant point there over the bar from Kerry. All of Kerry's forwards have scored other than Darragh Moynihan, but a point for Gainey so far, 3 for David Clifford, a point for Stephen O'Brien, Adrian Spillane with a point, Paddy Clifford with a point, and Jack Barry in there as well. So Kerry getting a lot of different scores. Mayo just not too many scorers there, but they do put a point from Ryan O'Donoghue. That's his first of the game. Much needed point there for Ryan O'Donoghue as well, having missed 2 frees early on, having hit the post. So that will certainly settle his confidence. And Mayo bringing it back to a 6-point game. Mayo pressing Kerry on the kick out there, but Kerry just about doing enough to come through it. It does look like Kerry are going quite short from their kickouts at the minute. And they do look very comfortable, it must be said, in the game here at the minute. The men from Kerry with a comfortable 6-point lead as we approach half time. They're on the charge here again. Jeremy O'Connor's done very well for Kerry so far, and that's an opportunity wide there in the end from Adrian Spillane. So 6 points in it there. Can Mayo maybe get a goal or something maybe here just to give themselves a big chance in the second half? But there's a forward run and a brilliant score there from James Carr, who's done well so far. He's probably been Mayo's best player. That's his 2nd point of the game. Really well taken score there. I mean, he's not a regular starter. He's been one of those players that a lot of people have been, I remember a few years ago when he broke on the scene and he scored that brilliant goal against Galway. I think a lot of people were maybe expecting him to go on and be the next big thing for Mayo, and it hasn't quite worked out just yet for him. Obviously, he's very young and certainly has a lot of years ahead of him, but he's kind of been on the fringes. But a big game, obviously, considering some of the injuries for Mayo. Paddy Clifford runs absolutely around Lee Keegan, and Mayo opened up again. Rory Byrne with a brilliant save. That's the 2nd time that Rory Byrne denies Paddy Clifford from close range. And, if Kerry had been a little bit more clinical in this first half, they really could be out of sight. Brilliant save by Rory Byrne. That will certainly give the Mayo back line a lot of confidence there that they've got a keeper there who's pulling off big saves. Yeah, could you see Kieran Whelan take the reins at Dublin someday? I'm not sure. I don't really know if he wants to give up his gig at RTE, to be fair. And I don't really know how involved he is with coaching in Dublin. I'm not sure. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not sure. He could be maybe someone at some point. But here come Mayo on the attack. Ball goes over the bar there, and that's 3 without reply now for Mayo. And Kerry go down the other end with a big opportunity from Paddy Clifford, forces the save of Rory Byrne, and Mayo go down the other end and put it over the bar. It's now a 4-point game, and I think that's the most important thing for Mayo, is just not to fall too far behind in the game. I think as long as they stay within touch and distance of Kerry, they'll always have a bit of an opportunity going down the home stretch. Connor Loftus there with that last point. So 3 without reply now for Mayo, who, Kerry were looking very comfortable there. They had a 7-point lead. That's now down to 4. Still comfortable enough from Kerry, but they just need to be a little bit wary of Mayo coming back into this game. But with the way that Kerry are opening up that Mayo defence, you would feel that there's another goal in this for Kerry at some stage here. Kerry just being patient on the ball. Stephen O'Brien. He's so quick at times. He's almost too quick for himself, and he loses possession there. And Mayo now. Aidan O'Shea doing a bit of defensive work there. Plays it into Michael Plunkett. Could Mayo maybe get another score here? It's good attack and play. It's Michael Plunkett. They need to get a score here from somewhere, and it's Ryan O'Donoghue. It's wide. It wasn't Ryan O'Donoghue actually, but it does go wide there, and that was a big opportunity. It was Jack Carney there, who's put a couple wide now for Mayo. So it's stays at a 4-point game. That was a big opportunity there. Shame, such a great player like Kieran Whelan never got to play in an All-Ireland final. Yeah, he was just born at the wrong time, I suppose. Came through Dublin at the wrong time. Extraordinary, really. There probably won't be, touch wood anyway, too many brilliant players as good as him for Dublin that won't play in an All-Ireland final. And they've been far. He's been better than a lot of Dublin players that have played in All-Ireland finals. So, Jeremy Connolly could have had another year with Dublin, says Sharon Hegarty there. Yeah, I mean, he definitely maybe could have stayed on for 2020. I don't know. A lot of players just for whatever reason don't seem to fancy it under Dessie Farrell. Like a lot of players are opting out. Jack McCaffrey, for example, Jeremy Connolly, Paul Mannion. A lot of players just don't really, Conor O'Callaghan has not any involvement this year. Stephen Cluxton could have stayed on for a couple more years, in my opinion. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see, if Desi isn't there next year, will some of those players come back? Maybe, I don't know, but look, it might not be Desi. It could be other members of the backroom team. I really don't know. Dublin is a closed shop. You just never hear anything. You hear rumors, but you just don't know what's going on. Even with Conor O'Callaghan, nobody knows what's going on with him. I think Mayo will come back. I think they have a chance. It's only a 4-point game. There's a big miss there by Jack Carney. Could have brought it down to a 3-point game. But if Mayo can get it back to a 1-score game here and kick a point before the end of the match, I think they'll take a lot of confidence going into the end of the start of the second half. There's a long ball in there. Good bit of defending there from Kerry. They preventive 45 there. But the big worry there from a Mayo perspective though would be how easily they've been opened up defensively, and that maybe is something that certainly James Horan will need to address at halftime. They are missing players. Obviously, you don't have Oisin Mullen in there. But here we go again. Paddy Clifford, is he going to take the point? He is. David Clifford, I should say. Brilliant point there. And Kerry open up a 5-point lead. An important point there for Kerry because, they hadn't scored there for quite a while. They hadn't scored since the 28th minute. So just a bit of a mini drought there for the Kingdom. But they get their point. And it is now an 5-point game once again. Mayo now breaking forward with Aidan O'Shea. Lovely ball there. Mayo haven't really been able to create any goal chances. A little bit behind Jordan Flynn. He gets drowned out. It's brilliant defensive work from Kerry. They've done really, really well defensively. Mayo haven't had a sniff in front of goal here. And I think if you're a Kerry fan, that is the thing you must be most impressed with this year, because it does seem like Kerry have definitely got their act together defensively this year. Great bit of work going forward there from Gavin White. Looks like he was pulled back. It'll be a free in here for Kerry. And a chance to make it a 6-point game right before half time. Definitely work to be done for James Horan's men at half time. Paul Gainey not taking this one. Instead, it's going to be the Kerry goalkeeper, Shane Ryan, interestingly enough. I'm surprised Clifford isn't on these. I know it's on the ground, but I'd probably fancy David Clifford out of his hands and it is a long way out, but you'd probably back him considering how good of a talent he is, But we'll see what happens here. It goes over the bar in the end. It's a brilliant point. So correct decision there from Kerry, no doubt about it. 110 to 7 points. Shane Ryan there with the score, and Kerry are very comfortable in this game. They're opening up a 6-point lead now going into halftime, and Kerry are cruising. Halftime there, Kerry 110, Mayo 7 points, and Kerry, as I said, very comfortable. It must be said in this game, they've had a lot of goal chances. Paddy Clifford had 2 big goal chances, which were saved by Rory Byrne. But Kerry, of course, did get their goal from Gavin White after a brilliant bit of play from Gavin White initially, playing the ball into Paul Gainey, and then it ended up, the keeper made a bit of a save, and then it flicked back to Gavin White, who put the ball in the back of the net, and Kerry are 6 points up. I still expect Mayo to go on to have a second win in the second half, as they usually do. But you would have to say at the minute that Kerry are looking very, very good. Tommy says, what channel are you watching on? TG Caher there at the minute. It is also on GAA Go if you're abroad. So yeah, Kerry looking good there at the minute. Sir Klopp says Aidan O'Shea is needed in the full forward line. Don't know why they keep kicking the ball in there when it's not sticking. Yeah, Mayo just been a little bit sluggish at times going forward in that attack, and that's the worry, isn't it, for Mayo? Is you have brilliant player in Ryan O'Donoghue, and to be fair, James Carr's done well so far with 2 points. James Carr's done well, but other than that, it's just Jack Carney hasn't really done anything. Missed a couple of opportunities. Jason Doherty's been fairly quiet in the game as well. So that definitely is a worry from a Mayo perspective, no doubt about that. But they are missing players, and maybe when you get some of those players back in the team, the likes of your Oisin Mullins, to come back in there, Robbie Henley obviously as well, Paddy Durkin. There is a lot of players in that defensive line that are missing from Mayo, but that Galway game isn't far away. So I think from a James Horan perspective, he really, really will need to get those players back, because if they don't have those players back, Galway's attack is very good. They have a very, very good attack, and if Mayo defend like that against Galway, they could be in big trouble. They really, really could. And would still fancy Mayo at this point, but maybe just a little bit of cause for concern there. Shame the railway track run at the back of the terrace would be the best stadium in Europe if they could build that up, is what Viable Solutions says there. It's a fair point. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the game so far here at halftime. Kerry comfortable, very much 110 to 7 points. Mayo just haven't really got going there at all. Gavin White's been brilliant from Kerry at getting forward. I mean, what a display he has given for this Kerry team. And it's been very, very good. And Mayo have been, just wasteful, a little bit poor. They've missed chances as well. Ryan O'Donoghue misses that free when he hits the post. And what, Mayo, sometimes you just think like there's so much psychological damage that has been done to a lot. I know this Mayo, this is kind of a new Mayo team, but back-to-back All-Ireland finals. And I know it's a league final. The same pressure obviously isn't there. But yeah, Mayo will just be disappointed with how the game has gone so far. Bully says, where is Aidan O'Shea? Haven't seen him on the ball once. Clifford 1-on-1. Can't be marked. It's hard to really know where Aidan O'Shea is. I've seen him kind of back in that number 6 position again. at times in the game. I haven't really seen him in at number, so I think maybe he just has a free role. I don't really know where he's playing, to be honest, but yeah, it hasn't really worked out for him too much. He's a physical presence and he's great for the throw in, but after that, he doesn't really do too much, you know? But yeah, obviously Kerry in front there at the minute by 6 points. Galway obviously won, or Roscommon won earlier today by a point as well. Big wins for Louth and Cavan as well. I did an accumulator, and if Tipperary had scored that late opportunity and Kerry went on to win this as well, I would have had a bit of spare cash lying around, but unfortunately Tipperary didn't quite do the job against Cavan, so irrelevant in the end. But a lot of work needs to be done for Mayo going into the second half. Sharon says in 2017 Mayo beat Kerry, then lost to Dublin, and yeah, I mean their record in All-Ireland semi-finals is very good, their record in All-Ireland semi-finals is pretty good, but it's obviously been finals, really, hasn't it? That's been the big issue. And even finals outside of All-Ireland finals, they do quite well in, like Connacht finals and league finals. They won the league final 3 years ago. So that's kind of been the big issue there. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see, when Cillian O'Connor obviously comes on in the second half. How long does James Horan leave it? Does he give him the final 10 minutes of the game? I think at the end of the day for Mayo, it isn't, it's obviously a big it's obviously a big game for Mayo, make no mistake about that. But that Galway game is obviously probably more important really for Mayo. The All-Ireland is so big as well. So it's a huge game for the Mayo men. That Galway game is obviously a huge game. So I think you want Cillian O'Connor fit for that game. If you throw him out in the final 10 minutes of this, you risk him maybe of getting injured. If it goes to extra time, maybe you take him back off. So it'll be interesting to see what way they go about it there, and be interesting to see what sort of level Cillian O'Connor is at since coming back from his injury as well, because we've seen when Colin McShane came back from his long-term injury last year with Tyrone, he made a big impact. He was he's arguably better last year than he was this year. And you'd wonder if Tyrone maybe go back to, using Colin McShane as a bit of a super sub, because he hasn't been that great this year. Whereas last year he came off the bench and thought he was brilliant. I actually personally thought he should have got an all-star last year. Even if he didn't start any games. So yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, we'll have a look at some comments coming in there as well. No All-Irelands given out in semis, and yeah, that is exactly the point there as well. The longest bar in the world in Croke Park, it goes all the way around the middle tier. Yeah, I mean, you'd love some points in there now at the minute, wouldn't you? Sir Klopp says Mayo need to roll the dice now, play to their strengths, which is a good finish. Take off the underperformers like Carney and throw on Cillian, even if it's just to get the crowd going. Yeah, it's an interesting point there. I mean, I don't think he risks Cillian O'Connor too soon. I'm not sure. It would obviously depend on the level that Cillian O'Connor has been at. Maybe I'm sure he's been involved in AB games, and he's been involved in maybe challenge games or whatever in the past while. development squads or whatever. He's probably been getting a bit of game time here and there. So it will be interesting to see what level he's at coming off the bench. No doubt about it. But I think for Mayo, the big thing really is just to shore up defensively. For this game, shore up defensively, and I think you might have more of a chance there. But Kerry have just opened up Mayo far too easily with the two-party Clifford chances, the goal obviously from Gavin White as well. And defensively, Kerry have just been excellent. The likes of Tyg Morley, Tom O'Sullivan, Gavin White have been brilliant so far for Kerry. So yeah, be interesting to see what happens in the second half. Mark says here, Sean O'Shea still to come back into the Kerry team will take some of the pressure off Clifford, and that's exactly the point as well. I think a lot of people are forgetting that Sean O'Shea still has to come back. It probably shows the depth of quality that the Kerry forwards have. A player like Sean O'Shea missing for any other team would be huge. It's a bit like if Kieran Kilkenny was injured for Dublin. You'd really, really miss him in the team. And you wouldn't really have many players that could come in and do maybe a similar impact. But Kerry, to be fair to them, have done a brilliant, brilliant job at sort of I know they lost to Tyrone last week, but they've still been keeping up the same levels of performances. And in this game as well, they haven't particularly missed them too much. A 60% Killian will be better than just letting the game fizzle out. It is a point, yeah. And, again, it just depends on what level he's at, I suppose. But yeah, a 60% Killian would be important. The Mayo management have something against Fergal Bowl, best Mayo player against Kerry, and then is nowhere to be found against Tyrone and Kildare. Should have been starting today. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point as well. I mean, I don't know if it is an injury or what's going on there, but but yeah, and that is the thing. Mayo just do have a lot of injuries there at the minute, and that has been the worry for them. Kerry do have injuries. No mistake about that. But there just has been a lot of injuries for Kerry or for Mayo so far this year. But yeah. Viable Solution says there as well. Kerry scores are coming easier than Mayo's. All Mayo scores have been long range shots. They should move Aidan O'Shea into full forward line for dropping balls. Yeah, you would suspect that they will start doing that as well, sort of in the final few minutes. I don't even know if that really works though, to be perfectly honest. I just think a lot of teams have that figured out. I've seen them do that against Dublin in previous years, and it hasn't really worked. Maybe you start doing that for the last 15 minutes. But see, the risk as well is you start losing. If you float long balls in there, you need to get it right. You're taking a big risk in terms of giving away possession. I think if there's one goal in it and you're going into the final 5 minutes, then yeah, fair enough. You float those long balls into him and hope that he catches the ball and maybe offloads the ball onto one of the other Mayo forwards. But I think Kerry would have that sussed out, to be perfectly honest, because I think a lot of teams are dead wide to that already, in my opinion. But yeah, SAFC don't rule out a Mayo comeback. They like this position, and absolutely, yeah. I'd be spot on agreeing with you there. I think they definitely do still have a chance because they love a comeback. They hit the post 3 times. 2 of them came back into play. He would have been on them. Maybe, yeah, it is a fair point. Maybe if he's there, I still think Mayo would have had it covered anyway. But maybe it definitely could be something that Kerry would look to. Obviously, they're not hitting the post on purpose. So I'm not sure. I mean, he certainly isn't doing enough in the position he's in. So maybe either take him off or put him in the full forward line. I don't really know, but we'll see what James Horan has in store for the second half. Like, personally, I think he was doing better when he was on the bench, and he's coming off the bench. He's making more of an impact. So that would be my opinion anyways. Loftus and Carney should be taken off. McHale and Killian on. Yeah, I mean, Darren McHale's done very well at club level for Knockmore, obviously, in the last couple of years. Maybe he could make a bit of an impact. He hasn't really shot the lights out for Mayo, like a couple of good performances against like Sligo and Leitrim. But I know he's been struggling from injuries as well. So, yeah, he could be a player to throw in there. Look, I think this is one of them games where if Mayo lose, it's not really the end of the world. Their focus will be on much bigger things, obviously. Mayo could win the league and then get knocked out by Galway and Connacht and then get knocked out in the qualifiers. No one's going to be talking about Mayo's league title at the end of the year. It's like in 2019 when Mayo won the league, but then, got hammered by Dublin in that All-Ireland semi-final, and no one was really, it didn't really matter in the end. It's like Kerry when they've won leagues, and then, the same year they won the league in 2020, they got beaten by Cork in a Munster semi-final, and it didn't matter. Were Kerry fans, happy that they won the league? No. So I think the league it's a bonus, and it's something that I think you can use towards building into the championship, and you use the confidence you get, you use the different players that you try out. And I think for Kerry, it does have a bit of significance this year in the fact that they need to start getting used to winning at Croke Park, because their record at Croke Park, as we said throughout the stream, has been quite poor in the last kind of 4 to 5 years. So that definitely is something they need to rectify. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah. Matthew Hurley says there, Mayo are already thinking ahead to Galway, game over. Unfortunately, says Matthew there. I mean, yeah, I don't really think so. I think Mayo always have a second wind, and I think you'll see them push the game close. I still think Kerry will win the game, but I do think Mayo. I do think Mayo will push in the second half, and they'll do something. I think Kevin McLaughlin's on there, is he? So we'll see what changes there has been for Mayo in this second half. But Kerry straight away there on the attack, and it goes wide in the end. But straight away there, Kerry just opening up Mayo, and Tom O'Sullivan, interesting enough there, just venturing forward straight away from the throw-in, which is interesting. Viable says, are the qualifiers definitely back this year? They are. They definitely are back this year. So qualifiers are back and all the rest. So maybe Mayo will go back to their usual routine of losing and then coming through the qualifiers. I don't really know. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Just trying to see if Jack Carney's obviously gone off. Kevin McLaughlin's come on, as we said there. So just one change from Kerry there at halftime. I don't think Kerry have made any changes by the looks of things there. So, yeah, big. I think for Mayo, they just want to give a good display. I don't think it matters too much about winning the game, but I think giving a good display. And there's a point there from Michael Plunkett, who was very good against Dublin at Croke Park. Let's not forget, I thought he played very well at Croke Park against Dublin. So 2 points from him there. And Kerry, 5 points, 2 to good, but Mayo with the opening score of the second half. So we'll see what happens. Will Mayo have that sort of second half surge that they have? Or can Kerry keep up their same energy that they played in the first half? We'll see what happens. Lovely bit of skill there from Kerry on the ball. Adrian Spillane, lovely bit of skill. And Kerry now on the attack there. Jeremy O'Connor's had a good game so far for Kerry. He's been good around the middle. Stephen O'Brien there. Space opens up. Looks like he puts it over the bar. Did he over carry, or is it call back for a free? I'm not sure. We'll have a look here. But 5 points there at the minute. It's a free in for Kerry. You would fully expect this to go to back to a 6-point game from Paul Gainey. But yeah, so Kerry going back 6 points in front. And it'll be interesting to see, like, will Mayo let the game fizzle out, and will they look ahead to Galway? Will James Horan maybe start making changes? I'm not sure. We'll obviously wait and see what happens there. But yeah, 6-point game in it there at the minute. Mayo on the attack, good pressure from Kerry. It's interesting to see the likes of, Gavin White and Tom O'Sullivan just so far forward there, especially when they're pressurizing the Kerry players. Mayo trying to take advantage of that here, but Kerry just very well organised, and there's just no real options for Mayo to play it into. But that is good play, but an effort there from Jordan Flynn, the flex back into Shane Murphy. Mayo got forward there, but they just don't seem to have the same options going forward as what Kerry have. It seems like Mayo defensively are going man to man, whereas Kerry are more sort of, just more zonal, I suppose you could say there. At the back, they're just very well organised, and there's just no getting through them there. And forcing Mayo to kick from distance, which has worked so far. Kevin McLaughlin, can he bring anything to this Mayo team? I mean, he usually brings a lot of energy, and he's obviously a brilliant servant for Mayo down the years. I think Mayo just do need to be patient as well, but you can see Kerry just very, very well organised there at the minute. Poor ball into the Kerry defence there from Jack Carney. Kerry intercept. So yeah, just not quite there going forward from Mayo. They've just been a little bit sluggish. And yeah, here come Kerry now on the attack. Ball gets worked into Paddy Clifford. Back to Stephen O'Brien. Kerry patient here. As soon as it starts to become a 7 to 8 to 9 point game, all of a sudden you think Mayo probably will start to take players off and really start looking towards Galway, but we'll see what happens. David Clifford now. He's got Padraig O'Hara there on him at the minute. Lovely bit of play there, venturing forward from Dara Moynihan. Gets intercepted there by Aidan O'Shea. Goes out for a 45. By the looks of it there. So this should be another point for Kerry. I mean, we'll see who's on it. It'd be interesting. Probably be the goalkeeper, I'd imagine, considering he took the last one from the sideline. So we'll see what happens there. But again, Aidan O'Shea just being, very defensive, really. He's getting into a lot of those defensive positions, but you'd wonder really, like, it was a good block, to be fair to him, to prevent the attack. But yeah, you wonder how long before James Horan either takes him off or maybe pushes him further up the pitch. It's an interesting one. It's Paddy Clifford standing over this. Puts it over the bar. There you go. 112 to 8 points. I mean, that's the thing about Kerry. They just have so many, free takers. It's almost like they're rotating their free takers to see, who's the best, because obviously you don't have Sean O'Shea on the pitch, but whether it's the keeper, whether it's Gainey, whether it's Clifford, both Cliffords, yeah, brilliant point there from Paddy Clifford, and now opens up a 7-point game. Viable says, are they not using the Super 8s this year? No, Super 8s is gone, thankfully enough. Super 8s is finished, thankfully enough, which I think is good, because I think we're going to get competitive quarterfinals this year, in my opinion. I think the quarterfinals are going to be very competitive. Mayo here trying to work something forward. Ryan O'Donoghue, he's just very much been drowned out. Plays it into Aidan O'Shea. Here he is now. Venturing forward, wins a free in, and that's more what you want to see from Mayo and Aidan O'Shea there. You would expect this one to go over the bar. Ryan O'Donoghue has been very quiet, must be said. Kerry's defense have definitely done a good job on limiting his impact, it must be said, in the game. But yeah. Goes over the bar there. Good point from Mayo. Brings it back to a 3-point game. Ryan O'Donoghue there with his second point of the game. Are we going to see the late fight back from Mayo? I kind of hope we do, to be honest, because I just want to see, a bit of entertainment, a bit of excitement. I want to see a bit of drama. Something a bit crazy to happen, Well, we'll see what happens. Kerry are just managing the game very well here and very much on course here with about 20 odd minutes to go here, 27 minutes to go, plus injury time. Stephen O'Brien on the attack again. Great interception there from Padraig O'Hara to prevent David Clifford getting the ball, and Mayo now trying to break quickly on Kerry. This is good play. Could this be, that kind of moment where that Mayo win comes from? But that's a poor ball really into Jason Doherty, but he does win the sideline ball there. You can watch the game on TG Cahar, GAA Go as well. So that's where you can watch the game, mate. But yeah, 6-point game here. It's been 6 points very much for the majority of the game. I feel like I'm repeating myself consistently here, but that's kind of just been the way it's gone. Probably hasn't been as good as a game as I would have liked, to be perfectly honest. And you're just hoping that Mayo can bring a bit of energy here going into the final quarter of the game to make it a bit more exciting. But yeah, yellow card there for Jack Barry in midfield. I think that's the first yellow card of the game. I don't think the referees really had much to do in this game. So yeah. Ryan O'Donoghue, is he going to go for the point here from the sideline? It'd be an extraordinary point if he scored from here. You'd imagine the sensible thing here would be to work a score rather than going for it. Not that he can't, but I'm not sure, but we'll see what he does here. Padraig O'Hara and David Clifford very much becoming best mates there by the sounds of things. Padraig O'Hara not letting him away at all. He's chasing him down there, hunting him down. Clifford just isn't bothered by it at all. He's just like, yeah, I couldn't care less, mate. I couldn't care at all. Referee now coming back to probably dish out more yellow cards or warnings. I didn't really see what happened between the two of them there. It just looked like they were more verbally making friends, just kind of making, forming friendships. But is he giving black cards either way or yellow cards either way? I'm not exactly sure what for there, but Padraig O'Hara is some character, to be fair. I mean, I remember that interview he gave after one of the club games or something, and he was saying, yeah, we'll beat the next team or something. He definitely seems like a bit of a character, all right. So I can't imagine what he's saying to David Clifford there. You'd love a speakerphone or something there. Conor O'Shea comes on. Jordan Flynn comes off. Looks like another injury potentially for Mayo, and Jordan Flynn's at a very good league. That could be damaging. Kevin McLaughlin off the post. Mayo again hit the post. The fourth time in the game that they have hit the post. That is some statistic right there. Noel says Mayo need to win All-Ireland this year. This Kerry team are coming good soon. And that is the point, because I think especially the age profile of this Kerry team, you forget David Clifford's only 22, 23. Sean O'Shea's young. You have a lot of young players in there. Long ball floated in there. Rory O'Byrne comes for it. Rory Byrne gets nowhere near it. Clifford's on it now. Should be a point for Kerry. And it is. Comfortable there from Paul Gainey. Mayo just caught in no man's land there, really, from a direct ball over the top. Rory Byrne got absolutely nowhere near it. Mayo did good defensively there to stop a potential goal, but in the end, Kerry worked the point and it goes over the bar, and it's back to a 7-point game. Yeah, it's hard to see Mayo coming back into this, to be honest. I'm not sure. It would be a bit of a collapse from Kerry now. Ryan O'Donoghue on the attack there. He puts it over the bar. Have you kept track of the scores? I sure have. We'll call out the scores there in just a minute. But good point there from Ryan O'Donoghue, is second from play and back to a 6-point game. Both sides level, really, in terms of points in the second half. 3 points for Ryan O'Donoghue in the game. They just haven't got enough from the Mayo forwards. Ryan O'Donoghue with 3, 2 from play. James Carr with 2 points. But other than that, not really enough there. Jordan Flynn with a point. Yeah, they just haven't quite got enough there from their forwards. David Clifford with 4 points so far. 3 for Gainey, 1 for Stephen O'Brien has been very good. Adrian Spillane with a point, Paddy Clifford with 2, Darren Moynihan with 1 as well. I mean, all the Kerry forwards have scored, and that is the big, big difference. And speaking of Darren Moynihan, he does score. There you go, 114 to 10 points. So all the Kerry forwards have scored in this game, which is absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, it's hard to see Mayo coming back into this. They're going to need a goal or something, really. Jason Doherty hasn't had the best game, played it into Padraig O'Hara, who ventured forward, done very well to catch that, to be fair, ahead of his man, into Ryan O'Donoghue. You feel like if someone's going to do something, it's going to be him. But he puts it wide. Or does he put it wide? Hawkeye? It looked wide. But yeah, 7 points in it there. Mayo making a few changes now. Aidan Orme coming on instead of Jason Doherty, who hasn't really had the best game, to be perfectly honest. And we'll see what Aidan Orme can do. It's just, there's a lot of young players, really, isn't there? Like your Aidan Ormes, your Jack Carneys, these kind of lads, like young players, and Paul Towie, for example, who's obviously on the bench. You just need maybe, just a bit more. I think Tommy Conroy's injury is just huge for Mayo. It really, really is, because not having him is just huge. Here comes Aidan O'Shea driving forward. Definite foul there. That's the second free that Aidan O'Shea's won. So, I don't think Aidan O'Shea has really had that bad of a game, to be honest. He just hasn't been too much in the game. He hasn't had the ball too much. But when he's been on the ball, he's made things happen. That's the second free now he's won that you'd expect to get over the bar. He got a good block in at the other end as well. So he hasn't done too bad, but he probably just isn't offering those sort of scores that you'd want. A black card there for Jeremy O'Connor there. Kerry are going to be down to 14 men for the next 10 minutes of this game. Could Mayo take advantage of that? You feel like this is the big moment now, really, for Kerry. Aidan O'Shea venturing forward. Deliberate pull down there. No arguments there, you'd have to say. Jack Barry's on the yellow as well, so Kerry could be in a little bit of trouble there around the middle. Can Mayo take advantage of it? It's a big, big opportunity here for Ryan O'Donoghue, who really has to score to keep Mayo in this game. And it looks like he has. It's gone over the bar, 6 points. So yeah, Mayo need to play better for when they play Galway. They certainly do. I'd imagine they'll have more players back by then in terms of injuries. Tough black card. He slipped. Yellow, yes. It didn't look like he slipped, to be fair. It looked like he was pulled down, in my opinion. So deliberate pull down was a goal, was an opportunity, really. He was on the attack. He probably would have scored a point, maybe created an opportunity for a goal. So I think it's the right decision, in my opinion. But yeah, Brilliant kick out there from the Kerry goalkeeper, Shane Ryan. Kerry on the attack. I don't really know if the black card will make much of an impact. We'll see what happens there. Kerry will probably just push another man into midfield there and, sacrifice a forward because, they don't necessarily need to score that much. But saying that, David Clifford's just scored a brilliant point there. And, be what David Clifford's second win in Croke Park. So yeah, kind of incredible, really. His other win, I think, was against Tyrone, wasn't it, 2019? So 7 points. Mayo are going to really have to do something special if they want to win the league. Ball gets played there into Aidan Orme, who's come off the bench, takes the opportunity, bit speculative, off the post again. Wow. Mayo are nearly making out with the post at this stage. I mean, they cannot stop hitting it. But yeah, you're looking at it. I just don't really see where Kerry go from here or where Mayo go from here. It's looking like, there's just no getting. There's not, it's looking very comfortable for Kerry, even though they are down to 14 men. And whether you think that was a black card or not, I don't even think it's going to make a difference. You're as a neutral. I want Mayo to come back into it just to make it an entertaining game, just so it's kind of edge of the seat stuff. But it doesn't really look like it's going to be that way here at the minute. That's a loose ball, but Kerry get away with it. Mayo are pushing up and they're leaving spaces in behind. And here come Kerry now on the attack with Adrian Spillane. Looks like it's over the bar. It is. And it's now an 8-point game. And I think that's the biggest lead that we've had in the game. And Kerry are just super comfortable now. And Mayo probably just, it's looking like it's going to be a very tough one. Good ball into Ryan O'Donoghue. Takes it nicely. Can Mayo work an opportunity? I mean, they definitely need goals, but they need points as well. And I don't think they should start losing their heads. And they've definitely done that there with that pass. And brilliant interception there from Stephen O'Brien, I think it was. Or from Dara Moynihan, I should say. And Kerry just very, very well organised defensively. Mayo haven't had a single goal chance in this game at all, from what I can remember. Here comes Cillian O'Connor. He comes on for the final 15 minutes. Can he make an impact? Can he make a difference in the game? Can he be the one to change things? James Carr definitely had faded in this game quite a bit and was impressive in the first half, but haven't really seen too much of him in the second half. So Kerry now venturing forward. Can see the forward run there. Clifford with a brilliant ball there. Off the post, but over the bar. And Kerry now 9-2 to good. Good point from Paul Gainey. Kerry doing what Mayo can't, and that's hitting the post, but also scoring at the same time. Lee Keegan venturing forward. See, I feel like it's such a big lead that's opening up. You could see Mayo just taking their foot off the gas maybe, but here comes Aidan O'Shea. Another free. And Aidan, I think Mayo need to get Aidan O'Shea more on the ball because he is making things happen. He's winning frees, and that's the third free he's won now for Mayo. It'd be a 12-point game if it wasn't for him. Or a 10-point game, I should say. 11-point game. But Ryan O'Donoghue standing over it. Needs to score it if Mayo are going to complete the miraculous turnaround. He's hit the post again. This is incredible. What is going on here? Jesus, mother of Moses, man. Mayo have hit the post 6 times in this game. Oh, if they weren't cursed before, I don't know. I just don't know at this point. That is just, yeah, kind of mental, really. Yeah, they can't stop hitting the post. I don't know what is going on. Mental, mental. David Clifford now. Shot goes wide there from Darren Moynihan. Stays as a 9-point game. Here they go on the attack. Yeah, it'd be an interesting statistic to see, like, if a team has ever hit the post 6 times in Crow Park. Probably have, to be fair, but an unusual one. Clifford there runs a ring around Padraig O'Hara. Looked like he was going for the goal, but it goes over the bar. 10-point gap now in the game, and it's over now, isn't it? It's completely over. There's no way back for Mayo. Final 10 minutes, unfortunately, are just going to be the final 10 minutes are just going to be, just a formality at this stage. I mean, it would be an extraordinary comeback if Mayo could turn it around, but I just don't see them doing so. And it has been extremely comfortable from Kerry. And I have to say, I've been very disappointed with Mayo in this game. They just haven't really, they've just looked toothless going forward, and passing's been poor. And yeah, they just haven't really been good enough. And even when Kerry were down to 14 men, or down to 14 men now, and Mayo just can't seem to really do anything at all. If anything, you think it's Mayo who are down to 14 men. Kerry or Mayo on the attack there with Aid Norm, puts it wide. Poor effort there. Young talent obviously coming through the Mayo team. A lot of Mayo fans obviously speaking about him, and he's done very well at under 20 level, but he probably hasn't quite set things alight for Mayo so far, anyway. To be fair, but he's obviously a young lad coming into that team, and yeah. Ryan O'Donoghue got stage fright when Killian came on. Yeah, it's an unusual one for Ryan O'Donoghue, and sometimes a lot of coincidence in sport, but you just wonder, like hitting the post in the final and the penalty last year, and then I think he's hit the post 3 times in this game. It's a little weird, that, isn't it? Could just be a coincidence, but you feel like if it's outside Crow Park, those points go over the bar. It's probably not going to make a difference in the game anyway, because Kerry are so far in front. They're 10 points in front. To be a 6-point game, it wouldn't make a difference, but it's a little unusual. Ten points now going down the home stretch. You can tell really the way the game is just completely fizzled out here now. Like, Kerry are just comfortable. Shane Ryan's just taking the piss now at this stage and trying to run the pitch. Kind of reminds me of when I play my mates in FIFA and you're 4-5-0 up and you say, you know what, I'll just run the pitch because I've nothing to lose. And that's basically what Shane Ryan was doing there. But yeah. ends up playing the ball on and nothing happens. Everyone's talking about Mayo's strength and depth in the forwards, but they have very few natural scorers. Yeah, and I think just when you see Tommy Conroy's injury is quite big. Aidan Orme hasn't quite set the world alight. Jason Doherty hasn't really carried on that form that he had probably at the start of the league. So, like Ryan O'Donoghue is probably one of the players you can see that can kick from distance. Matthew Ruan probably as well. Jordan Flynn as well. But Jordan Flynn has gone off injured in this game as well. So there's a lot of injuries for Mayo. And I did say a couple of weeks ago that I felt like they would win the All-Ireland this year. But just looking at those injuries and that defensive problems, I'm just not sure that they do. They have done better defensively in the second half, to be fair, and that was a good bit of work there from Ruan and Padraig O'Hara. Can Mayo make something out of it? Padraig O'Hara ends up on the deck there. Didn't see what happened. Yellow card for Micheál Burns. I mean, you could nearly just wrap the game up here now, couldn't you? There's just nothing that's going to happen here in the final few minutes. Kerry even look like the team that's more likely to score than Mayo. And it has been a very poor performance from Mayo. Make no mistake about that. And look, I'm sure their focus will be on Galway and on the All-Ireland, but with the injuries that they're having, you would. They win the mark, don't take the opportunity. Probably could have went for goal there. In 2020 final, Dublin were down to 14 men and Mayo still not win. Yeah, Dublin obviously had a black card in that game. And I remember they pushed Michael Plunkett up as the spare man, which probably wasn't the right decision, really, in all honesty. Poor ball in there. It's been so poor for Mayo, hasn't it, in attack? Niall says in 2020. Oh, yeah, I already said that. Repeating myself. Losing Tommy Conroy, their most Clifford-esque forward, is a killer blow. Yeah, it is. And here goes David Clifford. He's absolutely rinsed Padraig O'Hara there. And that is way too easy, isn't it? He's absolutely rinsed Padraig O'Hara there, inside and out. And even Padraig O'Hara gives him a little slap on the hand there because he's been talking, he's certainly been giving David Clifford a lot of variable throughout the game, but he's absolutely turned him inside and out there and sent him back packing to where he came from, because it's brilliant from David Clifford, isn't it? It's absolutely brilliant. And Kerry 13 points in front now, and this has been an absolute demolition, an absolute hammering. And it's been a bad day at the office for Mayo. Galway licking their lips watching this. I think they will, because I think Galway's attack is very good. They have a few defensive issues of their own, no doubt about that. But I think they will take a bit of confidence from it. And Shane Walsh is kind of in and out of the team with injuries. We'll see what the status is with him. But you're looking at players like Paul Conroy and Desi Keneally, Robert Finnerty. They could really do a job on Mayo. And I can't remember where that game is, but if that game is in Galway, I mean, they might just fancy their chances. They really, really will. I think the game might be at a neutral venue, actually. Mayo scored 2 own goals against Dublin and lost the final by a point. How unlucky can they be? Yeah, they just are such an unlucky team at times, and I think sometimes you make your own luck. Do you know what I mean? Like, you make your own luck, to be perfectly honest. But sometimes they just, when you're missing penalties, hitting posts, scoring on goals, and everything else, you kind of like, to be fair, with those 6 opportunities, it wouldn't have made a difference anyway, because Kerry would have won the game by 6 points if those 6 chances that hit the post went over the bar. But it would have been a closer game than it is now. Honestly, can't see anyone on par with Kerry apart from Tyrone. Both teams mile ahead of the rest of the pack, says Mr. EB. Well, Tyrone do have a lot of players opting out. Lee Brennan, Paul Donaghy, Tiernan McCann, and rumours about other players opting out that I don't want to say. We'll wait until that gets confirmed. But let's just say there's another big player in that Tyrone panel that I've heard has opted out. But we'll see. So there's a lot of players opting out of Tyrone. So I don't really know about Tyrone, to be perfectly honest. They're definitely a team that could beat a Mayo and beat a Kerry in Croke Park, but I just don't know with them, to be honest. Galway were beaten by Roscommon. Yeah, I think, if Galway are licking their lips, I think Roscommon are, doing more than that. Because, Roscommon have beaten Galway twice this year. Roscommon are looking very good. A lot of great young players coming in there. So I think they'll fancy their chances against whoever they play in that final. Cillian O'Connor stands over the free, puts it over the bar. I think that's his first point since coming on. So important for him to get his score there. It's actually 219 for Mayo, or for Kerry. To concede 219 as well at Croke Park, it's a high score, and to concede 12 points, or to score 12 points, such a low score, very, very, very comfortable. Niall says this is why Kerry took back Jack O'Connor, and yeah, I mean, I think you'd have to say at this time, is this moment of time, surely Kerry win the All-Ireland this year. Like, surely. If they don't win the All-Ireland this year, it's just, you'd wonder if they'll ever win it. You'd wonder what needs to change for them to win it, because clearly Dublin are in transition and just all over the place. I can't see them doing anything this year. Tyrone have had a lot of players opting out. All-Ireland hangover, all the rest. I can't see them winning it. They could be the closest, to be fair. I still think Mayo have a chance, but it's a very slim chance, looking at injuries and all the rest, and looking at, players that have retired in recent years and all the rest. Just don't really, I think if Mayo have Tommy Conroy, Cillian O'Connor fit, Jordan Flynn back, Paddy Durkin back, I think they're very close. Owen McLaughlin back, I don't think they're a million miles away. But with those injuries, it's going to be tough. And you certainly wouldn't see Cillian O'Connor starting the game against Galway. He'll probably come off the bench, I'd say. So, yeah, you'd have to say the back door might be a blessing for teams to get an All-Ireland this year. More matches and more time to prepare tactics for an All-Ireland rush. It could be, yeah. I mean, the back door will definitely be tougher this year, because we have the Tailteann Cup coming in. So, you don't really want to be going into that back door, because there's going to be a lot of good teams coming through. Donegal and Armagh are dark horses. They could be, Armagh definitely have shown a lot of improvement this year. And if they can come through Ulster, they'll have a big, big chance, I think. And they've got a lot of very good players. And if they can turn over Donegal in that opening game, they've got a chance. Donegal, I'm sure won't be a million miles away as well. So we'll see what happens. $12-point game, very, very comfortable, isn't it, for Kerry? It's been an absolute roasting, really. And Kerry or Mayo at this stage, probably just going to go for points, because they know goals aren't really going to make any difference either at this stage. Can they work a goal opportunity? They can't. It's just the fluency in Mayo's attack just hasn't been there at all. And yeah, it's just been super, super comfortable for Kerry. But yeah, can they work a third goal here? There's definitely space. It deflects, and it's a simple goal there. And Kerry 3-19, Mayo 13 points. Wow. This is a tough one. You know, it's a league final. It isn't All Ireland, whatever. I don't know. I'd be curious to know what Mayo fans really think of this. Like 15 points. I mean, this is yeah, an absolute hammering, isn't it? I don't think anyone's seen this. Who was Jason Foley who got that goal? You know, so the defenders are getting goals as well. I mean, absolute dominance from Kerry, and this definitely sends a message as well. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, I think as well, you'd have to say that this will give Kerry a lot of confidence going into, you know, if they are to play Mayo at some point. As a Kerry fan, surely he was inside the small parallelogram for that goal. Yeah, but I think because of the deflection and the other player who hit it obviously wasn't in the square either. So I think that's why the goal is given there. But yeah, Kerry comfortable, 15 points in front, and it is just a formality at this stage. Mayo end up getting a free here to make a consolation, you could say. There will be a match reaction after this game as well, so that'll be up on the channel in a few minutes after this stream, so stay tuned for that as well. And if you could smash the like button and subscribe if you're new, it'd be very much appreciated. Cillian O'Connor going for goal there and ends up putting it wide. Stays as a 15-point game. There we go. Correct score now, Mayo. 3-19. It's just such a huge score to rack up there, isn't it? Jack O'Connor is smiling. It's looking good going forward. It is, you know, and as I said, you know, be a brave man to bet against Kerry winning the All-Ireland this year. I've kind of backed Mayo in the last couple of weeks to do it, but I think having seen this game, I'd have to change my mind. I'd have to go for Kerry. Like, I just, you know, I don't see how Mayo come back from that and win the All-Ireland. I mean, the last team to get hammered by Kerry in the league last year went on to win it. I don't see that happening this time around. And yeah, you know, but big win for Kerry, confidence-wise. That will give them everything else. And it is full time there. Kerry 3-19, Mayo 13 points. Kerry have won the league in emphatic fashion. A dominant display, never really in doubt. And for Mayo, back to the drawing board. Terrible performance from them. Make no mistake about it. But it is Kerry who comfortably see off Mayo by 13 points. Kerry very good. Mayo terrible. And absolutely no getting away from that. But yeah, for anyone who tuned in, appreciate all the comments coming in there as well. If you could leave a like and subscribe if you're new, share this out to your friends and family if you could. And yeah, the match reaction will be out in a couple of minutes, about 10-15 minutes. So I'll get that up on the channel. And we'll discuss the game in further detail. So yeah, cheers anyone who tuned in, and I'll see you all later.